Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Jim Dietz from Ultra Pro, looking at Championship Formula Racing by Doug Schultz.
Correct.
Which we talked about a little at Gamma Trade Show, but now I guess this is finished production. Is this actually the board that's inside?
I wish this was the board. This is the playing mat we use for cons.
Okay.
The actual game board's going to wind up being a standard game board, standard mounted board. Double-sided so that the racetracks will be on both sides.
Okay.
The two that are going to come in the basic box set are Nürburg, because it's a nice tight, it's like, if you like, it's like knife fighting in a phone box, phone booth. I think that's really the look. And then the other track's going to be Monza, which is basically hit the gas and go 200.
Okay.
I think what's really awesome about the game, I wanted to bring over our miniatures, but they're currently in use.
Okay.
And
that's what happens at a convention.
Yeah, it's like outrageous. What are you doing playing games?
Get away from my table.
Yeah.
I need this.
Just don't play games. Come to the Board Game Geek booth, you know? That's
right.
okay. But really, we do have the finished cards and everything for building cars so that it's really a game of strategy. People are like, oh, is it like Formula Day? And I own Formula Day, and it's completely different. Formula Day is really about dice rolling, and there's very little dice rolling in this.
Okay.
You build your car, and then your car is going to act based on how you build it.
Okay.
So that I can choose, if we're racing Nürburgring, which is a track that you don't care about top speed, you can sit there, I'm not going to choose a very high top speed. I'm going to run slower.
Okay.
I'm going to want a lot of deceleration. And so when you build your car, that affects where you start on the track and everything. Play's pretty easy. I'm going to pick the speed I'm going.
So you're going to be making your own deck that you're going
You're
through?
You're going to select one of each category.
Okay.
Oops, and I've got the wear cards here.
All right, I'll put those aside.
Oh, that's awesome. And then driver skill.
Okay.
And you're going to select one of each of those 6 cars.
Okay.
And that's going to become the car you drive on the track. And once you've got your car built, that's what you're racing. So it's all on your style. I played the original Speed Circuit 3M game, which didn't have dice and required it to be all skill. So I very rarely choose driver skill when I build a car because that's part of the dice rolling of the game. I prefer not to rely on it. Some other people want to take more chances or a little more aggressive and tight curves, so they do take the driver skill point.
Okay.
It's all how you want to race your car.
As well, it's alternatives based on, I mean, sometimes you need to take chances.
Correct.
For what
and
you're doing here.
If you play, we've got it, we're working on the organized play setup for stores, where we have multiple tracks coming out. The first 2 will be Monza and Nürburgring. The first expansion, the first add-on on Kickstarter, I believe is Silverstone and Monaco. And that's going to be followed up by Suzuka.
Which is this track here.
This is actually Nürburgring, it just says Suzuka.
Suzuka.
That's a misprint.
You can tell how much I know about
That's okay.
here.
Suzuka, and it may be Watkins Glen or it may be Spa. But the designer, Doug, he's done a lot of work with the telemetry of the F1 tracks, and he's got about 24, 25 tracks ready to go.
Okay.
They all race like the tracks in real life. And so, but what I love about the game is it's skill. It's not, I didn't roll a 20, so I wound up 1 short.
Right.
I love Formula Day, but this appeals to a more of a race fan, somebody that likes skill in their games, that wants to choose. Deck builders would be somebody who would probably like something like this, where I get to choose what I have. Play is pretty simple. Once you know your speed, you take the card of whatever speed you're going, and it says move 2 spaces. So you move 2 spaces.
Okay.
If my acceleration's 60, on the next turn, I would pick the card that says move 100. And on that 100, it says move 5 spaces.
Okay.
You move on the board 4 or 5 spaces. Turns have grooves in them that are optimal lines that give you bonus speed to go through them.
Okay.
And they're based on the way people take the real track.
Okay.
And that's the game. It's on Kickstarter right now. It's on Kickstarter for about another week. And we're looking for about another $4,000 of financing. The game is going to come with 4 pre-painted figures, sculpted. And the painted figures look really awesome. The design on the sculpt is Car Geek-wise. It's not current Formula F1 cars. It's halfway between the F1 car now and the Ferrari F1 of the future. Okay. So the car design we have is something we're trying to make that will look realistic 10, 15 years from now.
Okay.
The expansions for it will each come with another pair of tracks, 4 more cars, until you can have a 12-car set, and then historical drivers. This track is clean. The final track is going to have numbers along the sides of it. I live in a really small town where there are no gamers. I can't play a racing game with 1 or 2 people. The game's going to come with historical drivers that allow players to race against Jackie Stewart, Alain Prost, Niki Lauda, so that I can choose those racers, and then they will race according to the marks around the track.
Okay.
And each of the racers will go differently. So Niki Lauda may race really hard when he's in first, and may take it really easy if he's way in the back. They will decide when to go in the pits and all that based on the marks on each of the tracks.
Right.
Doug's put a lot of time into the historical drivers.
Okay.
I think that makes it great because now for $50, really, I've got a racing game I can play with just by myself or 2 people.
Right. Which is different.
And ideally, if the Kickstarter is successful, and I'm hoping it is, we're really looking at being able to have some production copies at Gen Con for sale.
All right. That would be
and
speedy.
we're running actual tournaments at Gen Con that'll have prizes.
Okay.
So that's the first game today.
All right. And that is it for Championship Formula Racing.